begin by fluffing out the branches. These are all wired, so we want the overall shape to be an upside down triangle. Now I have this pack of beautiful blue ornaments that came from Walmart. To make it really easy without any hot glue, I'm gonna take some paddle wire, snip off about a foot long section, and we're gonna string these ornaments. So you always wanna go throughout and make sure your ornament tops are secured. If they are not secured, you can always add a little dab of hot glue to permanently secure them. But you can find your wires, your ornaments, and your teardrop swag from nixseasonaldecor.com. And we like to cluster them in 2 to 3. So once you've created a couple bundles, we're gonna just take that wire, twist it secure. We're gonna start up top. I'm just gonna place our first cluster of ornaments, and I'm just gonna tie that right to a branch. You can also pull some of that greenery in front of it to hide the hangers as well. And we'll just secure as many or as few ornaments as we would like or as you would like as well. And we have another cluster of ornaments, so I'm just gonna pull up some of that greenery and we'll attach it here as well. And our last cluster of ornaments is going to go at the bottom. And with this one, I think having the finial finish it off looks really pretty. And here we have some really pretty midnight blueberry sprays. So these you can also find from nixseasonaldecor.com. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wedge them between the ornaments, and the greenery is actually gonna keep these in place. If you wanted to secure them with a little bit of hot glue or some wire like we used with the ornaments, you most certainly can. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, just taking the berries, wedging them in. Here's how it turned out, you guys. I absolutely love it on my front door, and what great curb appeal. So very easy to do, a few inexpensive plastic ornaments, a teardrop swag, and some berries, and that is all it took to create something beautiful, and no hot glue. I grabbed a bouncy ball from Walmart, so I chose a yard of this glittery white fabric to kind of simulate snow. What we're going to do is just take the ball, place it right in the middle, and bring all that fabric to the center. So we're just gonna pinch it and gather it. Now we're gonna take a zip tie to secure it. This fabric will not be wasted. We'll use it as terry cloth. We'll use it in other projects. So don't feel bad seeing all of this fabric being cut off. Now we can just snip off the excess zip tie. And we're gonna take a piece of wire to secure this. So this is going to be our wire that we hang it from a tree, from a shepherd's hook, from a lamppost. We're gonna just take that wire and just tie it right around the top. And I'm also going to cut off an excess, that way we have enough room to tie it from whatever we decide, and it's not too short and we have to worry about that later on. So just make sure to cut a long enough piece. Now I have some of these beautiful snowy roses, and these already come pre-flocked. We carry them in rose form as well as peony form, and I think they're gonna look really pretty for the entire length of winter. So we're gonna just snip off each flower, and we are gonna keep these leaves because these leaves are gonna be the foundation underneath the flowers, adding a little bit of oomph to the ornament. To work them in, we're gonna just dip the leaves into our glue skillet, and fabric is a great adhesive for all of your florals, your artificial leaves, your artificial flowers. It does a great job keeping them in place. So don't worry about these falling apart because these actually hold up really nicely. And I created this technique about 5 years ago now, and the original ball that I created is still going strong. So what you might see over time is that the ball deflates, but if you keep the nozzle to inflate it towards the surface, you can just poke a hole right through the fabric and inflate it as needed. But for $1 versus a $15, $16, $20 styrofoam ornament, it's very cost effective to use the lightweight bouncy ball. We can come back in with the rose flowers. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hot glue those right in place as well. And notice the thickness of my glue. I always like to keep it more of a honey consistency to prevent it from dripping and to save my hands because we don't want hot glue to drip on our hands. Now we're gonna just come back in with even more roses. And I think, like I mentioned before, this is perfect for all winter long, and you can place this before Christmas as well. So you have a really long season for this, using only a couple of dollars worth of ingredients. And here is how it looks hanging from my tree, you guys. I absolutely love it, and it looks so pretty swaying with the wind. We're gonna begin with this 24-inch flocked wreath base. So all I've done is I've just fluffed all of the tips out just by pulling them apart. We're gonna begin by working in some of these silver willow leaves. And all we're going to do is we're going to snip each and every one down. So we're gonna use some of our wire snips and break apart these sprays. Right here we have my glue skillet, and all we're going to do is take our stem and dip it right inside. So all of the products we're using today can be found at nixseasonaldecor.com. And what we're going to do with these is make sure that there's contact with the hot glue and the pine from the wreath base. And we're gonna just sporadically place these throughout. And if you're working with a limited amount of sprays, what I recommend is to space them out a good distance, and then if you end up having a few extras, you can always place them a little bit closer together. So going with the silver theme, we're gonna work in these really pretty leaves. So all we're gonna do is snip each stem individually so that we have nice long pieces like so that we can work in throughout. Now we've dipped our leaves into our hot glue skillet, and all we're going to do is do the same thing that we did with the white willow leaves. We're gonna just work these in sporadically. So the willow leaves are more blade-like and thicker, and these ones are more lacy and see-through like a fern. So it's adding a nice contrast. Now we have this really pretty silver pine, and we have this in red, green, gold, silver, and champagne. And it also has these really cute little ornaments on it. So all we're gonna do is break down a few of these and work them in. And lastly, we have some of these really pretty fern leaves that we're gonna just snip off and work in as well. Now we have a pair of these ice skates that we're going to just tie in the middle. We also carry these in red, and I love adding skates to a wreath. So it's very wintry, and again, it'll last the whole season. So you can place this for months on your door and have something beautiful and not worry about changing it out for different holidays. And here is how the wreath turned out, you guys. I absolutely love it, and I love that it's in silver. So silver, I think, works for so many homes and different applications.
Head to your local salvage, vintage, or thrift store and pick up some inexpensive white glass globes that are normally used for ceiling light fixtures. Remove any stickers or tags and thoroughly clean the outside of the glass globe with rubbing alcohol. Next, crack open a bottle of decoupage glue and thickly brush the glue all over the glass globe. Hold the glass globe over a large bowl and sprinkle ground glass glitter over the entire globe. Glass glitter can be found at craft stores as well as online. By doing this over a large bowl, you will be able to catch the excess and make less of a mess. From experience, I know that glitter can end up everywhere if you don't catch it. Now, gently press and pat the glass glitter onto the decoupaged globe and then shake off the excess into the bowl. If you're planning to use this outdoors, you will want to spray the globe with a clear spray adhesive. This will help your project withstand outdoor elements. For a final touch, take a string of twinkle lights and stuff them inside the glass globe. These can be battery operated or regular string lights, whichever works for you. You can display these indoors to create a beautiful and frosty winter decor display. Or, whether you have snow outdoors or not, you can display outdoors to welcome guests and give your home a sparkling, wintry vibe. I hope this inspired you to turn everyday glass light globes into sparkling, snow-kissed snowballs for your winter decor. The next time you are at the dollar store, pick up some white plastic hangers. You will need 16 in total. And some clear zip ties. Start by placing 2 white plastic hangers next to each other so they are touching on the long side of the hanger. Take a couple of zip ties and connect the 2 hangers on the long side where they touch. Do this with all of your hangers so you end up with 8 sets of 2 connected hangers. Use a hot glue gun as double security for these zip ties. Take 2 sets of zip-tied hangers and position them on a table so the corners are touching as well as the mirrored hooks. Connect both of these touch points with zip ties and secure with hot glue if needed. Now add another set of 2 hangers onto those 2 sets. Zip tie and glue just like the others. Add the 4th set and connect with zip ties for a complete circle of hangers. Next, take your remaining 8 hangers and connect a completely separate circle of hangers. Take one connected hanger set and place it on top of the other connected hanger set. Now, take a felt snowflake. I found mine at the dollar store, but you can cut your own out from a piece of felt. Brush fabric Mod Podge over the entire felt snowflake. If you want, press some faux snow into the damp Mod Podge to add a little snowy sparkle. Once dry, hot glue the entire snowflake to the center of your hanger snowflake. I glued mine on an axis first in the center, and then added hot glue at various touch points on the snowflakes. You can hang it just like this, or take it a step further. Take some white string lights and weave them throughout the hanger snowflake. As you weave the lights, use the clear zip ties to secure them in place. You can hang this fun snowflake on a wall, inside, but it is even more fun to hang it outside on a window. Connect it to a power source and enjoy your lighted hanging snowflake at night. I hope this inspired you to create your own winter snowflake out of inexpensive hangers and zip ties from the dollar store.
If you're looking for some easy after Christmas porch decor ideas, then head on over to your local Dollar Tree. Using wire cutters, cut all the flowers off of the stems. Then place each flower stem into the hole of the strainer. Continue this process until the strainer is completely covered with the flowers. You may not need a flower for each single hole of the strainer, depending on how wide your flower petals are. Then bring the strainer full of flowers outside to your porch. Place inside a large empty pot. I also added a few extra flower stems around the strainer into the pot to hide the handles of the strainer. And now you have a beautiful faux flower arrangement that can handle anything this winter season.
First things first, we need to fluff open our wreath frame. And I like to start by opening up every twist before working in any deco mesh. And the reason for that is when you have the mesh in your hand, it's a lot easier to work it in if all of these twists are already open. I have chosen a white horizontal striped deco mesh. All we're going to do is just lie our mesh flat on our table, and we're going to cut approximately 16 to 18 inch long pieces. These create really nice sharp cuts. That way it reduces fraying. So we're going to cut one piece for every twist tie on the work form that we just opened. To work in our deco mesh, now that we have it all cut, we're going to just simply lie it flat on our table or on our cutting mat and roll it towards our hands. So this is known as the ruffle technique, and it's one of my favorite techniques, and I think it's incredibly forgiving. I love this technique because it always looks great. So we're going to just place one piece of this mesh inside of each twist tie, and as you can see with them already being open, it's really easy to work it in. And once you become more comfortable with your deco mesh, you're able to just do it in your hands and not worry about perfection and continue working your pieces in. Now for the head of our snowman, we're going to actually make a smaller wreath base, and I'm going to show you how to make it yourself. So we're going to use a pack of pipe cleaners. You can find these on our website as well. And I'm using white so that they match the mesh perfectly. So this is a 14-inch wreath frame, and what we're going to do is we're going to place one piece or one pipe cleaner on the inner two rings of each of the 6 sections. So this is one section, this is 2 sections, and so on and so forth. We're placing one on the inner rings. By placing it on 2 rings and securing it, it adds a little bit of tension, keeping it from shifting around. So now that I just showed you how to make your own DIY work frame, we can work in our mesh. So we're doing the same exact technique that we just did with the last wreath. The only difference is that we made this one ourselves. So we're placing one piece of deco mesh inside of each twist tie, pinch it in the middle, find your twist tie, place it in between, and then secure it. So since these are white pipe cleaners, you're hardly going to notice any of these ends. So now we have both of our deco mesh wreaths complete. We have the body here, and then we have the head on the top right here. We're going to actually just take one of these twist ties, find the metal from the frame, and secure it together. Here we have a little top hat, and I love the style of this one because it's kind of antique. And what we're going to do is just secure the 2 wires right to our metal frame. Now it's time for a scarf, and we're going to be using just raw burlap for it. So I'm going to take this, place it underneath, cut a length of it, and I don't really mind this, kind of fraying and looking worn, because I think that's what the scarf should look like. And then we're going to just tie it in place. Now we have a few of these black buttons. I'm going to apply a little bit of hot glue using a scrap floral stem, and then I'm just going to place them right onto the deco mesh. So now I just have a couple of these orange pipe cleaners, and all we're going to do is just kind of bend them to shape and twist them secure, and now we have a little nose. So I added a little hot glue for our nose, and this is supposed to simulate a carrot, and I think it's doing just that. So just a couple of pipe cleaners and you're able to create a cute little face. Now I just have a black pipe cleaner, and since this is a wire, all we're going to do is just bend it into a funny shape to create our mouth. All we have to do is just take the wire and place it through the deco mesh. And there is our cute face. So now let's hang this up and show you how it turned out. And here is how our snowman wreath turned out, you guys, and I absolutely love it. So you can use any color combo you would like, and think of other characters too. You can, create this as a Santa for Christmas. You can also do this as like a ghost or a bat for Halloween, or an Easter bunny for Easter. So thank you all so very much for watching. I'm Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Hometalk.